Zasloff and Warner did file a lawsuit against the NBA, claiming they actually did match Amazon's offer at the table, and therefore the NBA is legally obligated to consider it.
All right, welcome back to the channel, everyone. Hope you all having a good day so far. Considering that this is going to be the final season that we're going to get to see the TNT inside the NBA crew, I figured this video would be appropriate. So this is one by Henry Hoops, and this is called Why the NBA Abandoned Its #1 TV Show. And I know quite a bit about it. I know Amazon is the winning bid. So as weird as it is, we're going to be watching basketball on Amazon next year, on Amazon Prime, I believe, like Prime Video. But this is always going to be my favorite crew. It's my favorite thing in the media, actually, in the mainstream media, because these guys just say whatever the hell they want to say. They're not worried about any pushback from the corporate side, and they're there to entertain, and they know their jobs very well. And especially Charles Barkley, he just doesn't hold back and give a damn. And Ernie is awesome for holding the fort down. But anyways, let's see what Henry has to say about this one. And yeah, I'm going to link the original video down below in the description. So if any of you guys want to check out the video without me, go right ahead. It's down there. Everybody else, please leave a like to this video. I appreciate it. I appreciate you all. All right, let's do this.
This past year, NBA fans received some devastating news.
Yep.
TNT Sports is in a heated battle with NBC for the final piece of the NBA's TV rights deal.
And if TNT's out, then that would mean these four guys would be out as well.
That's right. After 30 long years of being on the air, Inside the NBA is being canceled because the Turner Network lost the rights to air NBA coverage to Amazon. Thanks a lot, Bezos. But why would the NBA cancel their most popular show? How could TNT, an organization that flourished as the NBA's partner, be so foolish to not match Amazon's bid? And is there any hope left that the Inside crew may survive the drastic ownership change? Or will Charles Barkley put the kibosh in all of it?
We just won the best studio show, but these fools turn us from Inglenook and Oprah's into damn Boone's Farm and Ripple. It's crazy. But at some point, I want to retire sooner than later, plain and simple.
Barkley's been making it pretty clear so far that if TNT is done, like he said, my family is TNT. Like this is my family. So he's like, if they're not all working, I'm not working anymore for, he's saying I'm not going to Amazon. I'll just retire. And I'm with him. Is there any possible chance they didn't make $1.8 billion last year? Because I think that's what the bid was that Amazon put on it. Is it possible they lost money? Because I can't really fathom it.
I'm going to dive deep into all of it, but first let's talk about what makes Inside the NBA so special.
Do it. The people. Ernie set up something
Started
awesome.
in 1989, Inside the NBA was originally a show without a host. But then, a year later, the network hired a young sideline reporter named Ernie Johnson.
Yeah.
Ernie, who had cut his teeth in the biz doing sideline reporting for local Atlanta television, was more or less a nobody when he was first hired. He was truly an underdog, which fit well with the network, keen on making a name for itself inside the world of sports. You see, before buying the exclusive rights to NBA coverage, TNT didn't have the same clout as some of the bigger networks like NBC, ABC, or CBS. In fact, TNT was mostly known as the little brother network to TBS.
Yeah, it was.
A station most famous for airing comedies like I Love Lucy and The Brady Bunch. But Ted Turner, the founder of TNT...
Fun memory for everybody. This might apply to any athletes out there. This is...
And The Brady Bunch.
For Brady Bunch. You guys remember when, I think it was Peter, was hanging on the monkey bars trying to get taller? Did you guys ever do that? Because I did that. I did it all the time. My arms are long as hell. People call me like gorilla arms and stuff because I got super long arms. So maybe it worked with my arms, but not the rest of my body. But I ended up pretty tall too. So maybe this Brady Bunch crap works.
But Ted Turner, the founder of TNT, had a vision for the network. A belief that sports programming was the future of Turner Television. And boy, was he right.
Yeah.
From 1990 to 1998, Ernie Johnson ran the show with a rotating cast of co-hosts.
Cheryl Miller.
And helped grow the TNT brand from basically nothing to a powerhouse in post-game analysis. And then, in 1998, another member was added to the desk. A recently retired point guard named Kenny Smith. Smith's arrival helped take some of the load off Ernie, while also adding some much-needed credibility to the program.
It's Kevin Hart here. You gotta enjoy my new movie, Think Like a Man 2.
Seeing as Kenny Smith was only just a few years removed from being an NBA
If anybody doesn't get it, that's a short man joke. Hold on.
program.
That's what it feels like if you're hanging out with Kevin Hart. Oh, man, I think Kevin Hart's about to get in some trouble, by the way. If you know, you know.
Was only just a few years removed from being an NBA champion. Kenny also started adding fun segments to the show, such as hosting shooting contests against anyone brave enough to face him.
Yep, I love this. He's savage. He's savage.
And of course, he
he
started
can still shoot like you wouldn't believe. It's I love it whenever he gets challenged by somebody. Even when he did that against the so-called Guinness Book of World Records best shooter of all time. Oh man, that would be this guy, by the way, right here. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. Look this video up. Watch the shootout. It's bad. It goes really, really bad.
the tradition of racing to the big board, a contest he didn't always end up on the winning side of.
Yeah.
Slowly, Inside the NBA was changing from a heavily scripted sports show to something entirely different.
Whoop.
And then, as if that wasn't enough, Charles Barkley was added to the mix. And that's when things really took off.
Yeah.
Charles Barkley
it's such
was
a smart foundation because you got Ernie, who at that time, he was just like your typical like news reporter, almost like your media guy. But he had a good vision. And then you add an NBA player, Kenny Smith, so he's going to give you that professional perspective of the game. And then you got the clown, man. You know, like he knew his role from day one. He's coming in to get some laughs. Now you already got a hell of a good dynamic. And then, yeah, Shaq being added just pushed it over the edge. But just between the three of them, they already had it locked down. They had the humor. They had a guy breaking down the actual game. And they had Ernie keeping it all together.
the natural in front of the camera. He was funny.
On TNT. And I hope you have enjoyed my T-Mobile Fave 5 list. I'm a dumbass.
The first time I saw Shaq in person, I said, number one, damn, he ugly.
And downright controversial.
Let me just tell you something. Women be milking that baby thing, too.
Barkley is just one of those rare TV personalities who can get away with saying anything.
Yeah.
Like roasting San Antonio women.
I bet you couldn't do that to them big-ass women in San Antonio.
Or honestly sharing stories about his time in the steam room.
Oh,
I got this bracelet from a guy in the steam room back in Arizona. You got what? Talk about. Hey.
But all of this did was add levity to a format that was in desperate need of a makeover. Allow me to explain.
Yeah.
You see, before Inside...
Yeah, this looks so 80s right here. And this was in the 90s, right? Late 90s, I believe, by the time they had this crew together. But this looks so 80s.
the NBA, all sports shows followed the same basic formula. You take one or two guys, put them behind a desk in suits, and you make them read a script directly into the camera.
Yeah, teleprompter.
But Inside the NBA changed all of that. Charles Barkley wasn't reading a script when he said he would kiss Kenny's ass if Yao Ming could score 19 points in a single game.
Hey, Yao Ming gonna get 19 points. If he get 19 points in the game, I'll kiss his ass right here.
And he certainly wasn't looking directly into camera a week later when they forced him to stay true to his word.
Hey, you know what? I'm a man of my word. You're a man of your word.
With Charles Barkley, Inside the NBA was having more fun on set than any other live sports show ever. And now all they needed was someone who could hold their own against Barkley. And they found the perfect person in Shaquille O'Neal.
That's true. That's true. Shaq is the one to try to keep Chuck in check. Can you dig it?
With the addition of Shaq in 2011, Inside the NBA went from good to must-watch TV every time it aired.
Yeah.
Barkley and Shaq's gigantic personalities clashed in the very best way possible.
You've only been to the finals once, so you don't know.
I was riding on Dwayne Wade's and Kobe's coattails.
Doesn't matter, Chuck. I got the same thing you got, and I passed you up 10 years.
And now Inside the NBA was beginning to create viral moments on a nightly basis. Segments like Shaq'd in a Fool were so influential that even active players were starting to take notice.
Block shots, what is it that you like about Shaq'd in the Fool?
I don't watch Shaq and the Coon. I mean Shaq and the Fool.
Whoa.
Shaq was one of the most dominant players to ever step foot onto a basketball court. And yet somehow he was maybe even a better TV personality. And thanks to him, Inside the NBA was becoming embedded into basketball culture in a way no other show had before. And what's even more impressive is how strong their bond has gotten through the years. For 13 years straight, Ernie, Kenny, Charles, and Shaq have made us laugh, kept it real, and shared their valuable basketball insights with us.
And what's crazy is they've been doing it for so long now. A lot of younger people, they don't even really remember that Shaq and Shaq and Charles were like really good basketball players. They just see them as entertainment because they're so damn funny. And they've been entertaining almost as long as they were playing.
And over the course of that time, the show has won an impressive 19 Emmy Awards, along with getting universal approval ratings from basketball fans worldwide. It's one of the most popular shows in the history of television.
Crazy.
So with all of that said, why would the NBA abandon TNT to make a deal with Amazon?
Yeah, let's do it.
Well,
I hope it gets into the financials because there's got to be a reason. There's something.
All starts with a man named David Zaslav.
Okay.
You see, back in 2022, David, the CEO of Warner Brothers Discovery, the parent company of Turner Broadcasting and Turner Sports, put his foot in his mouth when asked about the upcoming NBA rights deal. Quote, "We don't have to have the NBA," said Zaslav in regards to TNT. Quote, "Airing sports is hard. It has to be a deal for the future." Well, according to various NBA insiders, these comments did a pretty good job of ticking off NBA Commissioner Adam Silver, who has been looking for an excuse to bring the NBA to a streaming service for years now.
So it started a ripple effect. And then that would piss off the whole TNT crew as well, because it's like, okay, I guess we're not that important. And yeah, the league. So this alien-looking guy right here, Adam Silver, he's like, well, screw you. I want to move to streaming anyways, which I kind of understand on a technology level. Cable TV is kind of, it's kind of done. So I totally get putting it on a streaming platform. I don't really use Amazon Prime, but this might be the thing to get me to start. Actually, I already pay for Prime, so I probably already have access to this, and I just don't even care. Anyways, we'll see what happens next year. But yeah, I get it, why it's going to a streaming platform. Mark Cuban mentioned it too. When he sold the Mavs, he said it was a lot having to do with the uncertainty of the future of how basketball will be broadcasted. So he said we need to move towards streaming platforms, but the uncertainty of it all made him sell where he feels like is a high point.
Not only did that tick off Adam Silver, it also pissed off hundreds of employees working at TNT.
For sure.
Because contrary to Zaslav's words, TNT does need the NBA to survive.
Yeah.
Quote, "If Turner doesn't license the NBA, their costs will fall immediately. And soon after that, the revenue they get from cable and satellite distributors will fall as well," says Peter Sapino, an analyst working for Wolf Research Media. Quote, "Our estimate is that there's about $600 million of yearly profit that's going to go away."
Damn.
Which is not nothing, considering Warner Brothers Discovery is currently in over $40 billion worth of debt.
How does that even happen? Pulling in money like that, but you're in that kind of debt, and then you're going to trim this off instead of trimming the fat. You're going to trim the thing that's bringing in you the most revenue, and you're going to insult the people. I have a problem with this because you take out the crew. If Shaq was there, you take out these guys, and TNT basketball is not nearly as successful. I got to be real. They're doubling their viewership time, and they're rolling all their commercials because we're staying after the game. I find myself even during halftime not wanting to miss the halftime show because like I don't want to miss what these guys are going to say because it's always hilarious. So yeah, you should be appreciating the personnel, and if you're in that kind of debt, you should probably make the NBA on TNT a focus so you don't lose out on all that revenue and go further into debt. But what do I know? I'm just a dude who talks on YouTube.
So essentially, for TNT to survive, they had to find a way to strike a deal with the NBA. But that's not so easy considering their financial situation and the incredibly competitive field of suitors looking to secure a deal as well. Now, let's talk about how the NBA rights deal works. The NBA TV rights are split into 3 packages. Package A, which includes the NBA Finals, a conference final, weekly primetime games, and the rights to the WNBA. Package B, which includes 2 primetime games a week, the conference semifinals, and the other conference final series.
Okay, so I believe this is what TNT has right now.
And Package C, the smallest package, which gets you a smattering of regular season games and all the knockout games for the in-season tournament, aka the NBA Cup. Now, the problem for TNT is they're already out of the running for Package A, which was purchased by ESPN Disney for $2.6 billion.
Oh, wow.
And they're out of the running for Package B, which was purchased by NBC for $2.5 billion.
Oh, man, I'm not looking forward to that. NBC these days is like dry as all hell.
This means their only option is Package C. And guess who they have to outbid in order to win this illustrious package?
Mr. Bezos?
The richest company on Earth. Amazon placed a bid on Package C for $1.8 billion. That's over $500 million more than TNT paid for the same package the last time they met at the offer table.
Crap, so I'm starting to see the problem. If they're only pulling in a couple $100 million in profit, that's not going to compensate for the raise of the price to get that package now. So that's bad. Okay, maybe it is a smart business move. Unfortunate.
Essentially, the NBA has TNT over a barrel due to the leverage provided by Amazon's massive pocketbook. And if there's anything we know about David Zaslav, it's that he doesn't like to spend money at all. You remember that Batgirl movie drama from a couple years ago where they canned the entire film even though it had already been completely finished? Well, that was all the work of David Zaslav. You see, in cutting that movie, along with many others, Zaslav was able to count the movie's losses against Warner Brothers' tax sheet. This allowed the company to recoup $30 million in losses, which was great for business, but also pissed off just about every artist in Hollywood in the process. So what does this tell us about the future of TNT? For one, it tells us that David Zaslav is more concerned with salvaging TNT's money situation than pleasing its fans, which is fairly understandable given that's kind of his job. But needless to say, after the 5-day grace period allotted for TNT to match Amazon's offer, the deal was closed, with TNT on the outside looking in.
Damn.
Now, a few days after all this drama came out in the news, Zaslav and Warner did file a lawsuit against the NBA, claiming they actually did match Amazon's offer at the table, and therefore the NBA is legally obligated to consider it. But few
Okay, so it's still ongoing. It's not looking pretty, though. Because the NBA is more than likely going to choose the streaming service, Amazon. If it's the same price, you got to outbid Amazon. That would be the only way I'd see this Zaslav guy winning for TNT. You have to outbid them now. Because if it's a 1-for-1, why wouldn't I just go to the streaming platform? Because that's going to get more eyes on the basketball games.
I believe this will amount to TNT winning the NBA rights back. So where does this leave the inside the NBA crew? Well, for most of the crew, including Shaq, Kenny, and Ernie, they've yet to say anything about the deal and where they might be working come the 2025 season. But it seems like given their ages and where they're at in their careers, they'll likely find a new home in broadcasting sooner rather than later. As for Ernie, he says he's going to stay loyal to TNT no matter what happens.
Yeah, I see that.
Possibly making a move to cover a different sport for the company, such as college basketball or baseball. And for Charles, we've heard a lot of different stories over the past few months. But the most recent one is that he plans to retire from broadcasting once and for all, after Inside the NBA is officially taken off the air. In spite of Barkley's words, some have speculated that Amazon may attempt to reach out and buy Inside the NBA from TNT. But as of today, no such deal has been talked about by either party. And so unfortunately, the most likely outcome appears to be that next year will be the final season of Inside the NBA. So I know this is all a bit depressing, but let's remember that just because Inside is likely over, it doesn't mean that basketball itself is over too. What will the NBA coverage look like going forward on Amazon Prime?
Boring.
Well, if we learned anything from watching their football coverage, their basketball coverage is likely going to be led by a diverse group of new blood in the post-game analysis world. They'll likely have a lot of celebrity guests and some pretty cool on-screen graphics, so there's a lot to look forward to. But others fear that the coverage may end up being more closely resembled to Prime's WNBA coverage, which has been pretty hit or miss, according to fans of the league online.
I haven't seen it.
Something we can look forward to, though, is the return of NBC's popular NBA coverage, rumored to be led by Mike Tirico, and this old tune beloved by basketball fans worldwide.
Oh, yeah. John Tesh.
But all in all, the NBA's decision to move from TNT is a disappointing one because of the chemistry formed on the set of Inside the NBA over the past 30 years.
And about NBC, man, this isn't the NBC from the 90s. I don't imagine having 1% of the of the humor that we got from TNT. I don't see it happening. Not on NBC, not on ESPN, and not on Amazon. The only thing that could be cool about Amazon is the fact that it's streaming, and we might get some different kind of like camera angles to access, but we'll see. That's about it. But I won't be hanging around for the broadcast and for the post game and all that kind of stuff, unless it's they figure something amazing out that's very entertaining. But they had it right here. They had it.
It's truly one of a kind and unlikely to ever be replicated ever again. So say goodbye to Charles Barkley and his out-of-pocket jokes.
Why 33? That's how many points he had in 2 months. After I had 4 rings.
Say goodbye to Shaq and his insistent need to uphold the big man alliance.
We have G14 classification to say it.
And of course, we got to say goodbye to Studio J, a place that basketball fans will never forget.
Yeah, for sure.
That's a wrap for Inside the NBA, presented by Kia for Kenny, Shaq, and Charles, and Landon, and Anthony, Ernie Johnson.
Oh, nice.
We'll see you.
Oh, man. Thank you for all the memories inside the NBA, for sure. I'm going to enjoy one more season of this. It's not looking pretty, so I'm going to assume this is the last year and appreciate it for what it's worth. And I'm definitely going to miss it. Because I got to tell you the truth, the more disconnected I've gotten from like the current NBA product, I would always try my best to watch the TNT games. Just because if the game was boring, dude, these guys would just be cracking jokes about it and having a good old laugh. And I don't know, it kind of felt like a home for somebody like me to still, like, we're all there for the same reason. We all have our gripes about the current game, and everybody on the TNT crew, they'll talk about it and say they don't really like the game that much anymore. But, you know, their job is fun as hell. But anyways, guys, let me know what you think about this. Now that you've seen kind of the financial breakdown and the reasoning for what's going on, does it make a little more sense to you? Because I actually learned quite a bit from this vid. So one more shout out to Henry Hoops. Link is down below in the description if you want to check out that channel. I thought this was a very quick and concise analysis of what got us here to the point where we're about to lose, in my opinion, the coolest sports program I've ever seen. All right, everybody, have a wonderful day. I'll talk to you all later. Peace out.